Good evening, ladies, and welcome. I hope the internet is going to hold up tonight. I'm in a different space because I want to get on top of the internet, basically. So I'm sorry if it's a bit dark, but hopefully you can hear me. So if there's anybody watching, give me a thumbs up so I know that you can hear me. The sun's a bit bright. Let me move around there. Let's try that. Okay, so we had a really good question tonight from Heather, I think it was, about impulse decisions and why do we do them, which is a really good question because there's no easy answer, as I'm sure you're aware, and I'm going to try and tackle it from a few different angles, so I hope there's something for everyone in there, okay? So just before I get started, new ladies, hello. My name is Stephanie. I am your coach, curator of this amazing community, Women Who Don't Drink. It's a supportive, non-judgmental community for any woman that wants to change her relationship to alcohol. So that might be that you want to reduce, take a break or stop. We celebrate any alcohol-free day here, okay? So there's a welcome video at the top of the page and loads of free resources in the files section. Ask if you can't find anything, and of course lots of lovely volunteers, and also there's lots of ladies that have been around for a long time, so there's a lot of support and a wealth of knowledge on this page that's just amazing. I love it. Oh, hi Sam, can you give me a thumbs up, Sam, to let me know that you can hear me? I'm sure you'd let me know that you couldn't hear me, so I'm guessing that's fine. Okay, right, impulse decisions. So before we get started, sometimes we say we are impulsive. Thanks, Sam, that's great. Be very careful about the language you use. So sometimes we sort of say things, but we say it a lot, you know, like we say, oh, you know, I'm a little bit crazy, or I'm very emotional, or I'm very impulsive. And that's not to say that you're not. It's just that sometimes these things become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. We all have the ability to be impulsive and make impulsive decisions, but I bet it's just a tiny, tiny, tiny part of you. So just be really careful that that doesn't sort of develop into something like part of your personality. Okay, so I'm sure you can imagine there are many benefits to making a snap decision, but part of this journey, and you'll hear me say this a lot, and I think this is actually one of the big learnings, of which there's a handful, is learning to just be, to be present, to be aware, to really, really slow things down and sort of figure out what's going on, and not to overanalyze, but just to be and to be present. So part of that is it's okay to press pause. There is no rush. So that's the first thing to say, really. Like, sometimes life is so busy and we're doing lots of different things and we're not really paying attention. But when it comes to alcohol, so the reason why you're here is because alcohol is an issue for you in some way. It might not be a big issue. You might just want to take a break, and that's fine. But you're here because alcohol is an issue for you. So I highly recommend that you do everything you can to help yourself. So any decision about alcohol, I would say press pause. Don't make a snap decision. So I would make that one of your rules for part of this journey. In fact, I would say that's probably a really good habit. So maybe you've been thinking about having a drink. So maybe you're reducing, or you're just taking a break, or you just have an occasional drink. And maybe you're thinking, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go out on Friday night and I might have a drink. What I would say to you is, you know, don't make a snap decision about that. Like, think it through. So when you go out, rather than have a drink when you get to the bar, say to yourself, well, I'm going to wait an hour or so, you know. So it's that pressing pause and really thinking things through. So you're making a good decision. You're not making an impulsive decision, okay? So then that gives you time to think about it and come back to it. And then you're sort of getting it out of the habit of making those impulse decisions. So the first thing I would say is get into the habit of slowing things down, being present, paying attention, and pressing pause, you know, making that a good habit. Now, that's not to say that I want you to spend all your time over analysing and thinking things through and taking a long time to make a decision. I definitely don't want you to do that, okay? But where alcohol is concerned, you can press pause and slow it down, okay? Now, there's also something about short-term versus long-term. So what we can do is we can get into a habit of short-term quick fixes. So that's also part of it, you know, that dopamine hit, that, oh, I'm stressed, I'm tired, and you reach for the chocolate, or you reach for the wine, or you reach for the cigarette, you know. These are all short-term, really quick fixes, but they're not necessarily what you want for your long term. But we're so conditioned, I think, for them wanting to be quick and accessible, okay? And I'm going to challenge you to really think about that and to really notice that, to notice when you're going for the quick short-term dopamine fix when actually you don't want to, because in the it's a short-term fix. So let's think the glass of wine, you know. So you've had a hard day and you're tired and you have a habit of having a glass of wine. You have the glass of wine to unwind with, to relax, but that glass of wine turns into a bottle of wine. You know, so your short-term fix doesn't actually last very long, and in the long term it's not really helping you at all, and maybe it doesn't even fit with your long-term goals around health and fitness. You know, maybe you want to get a little bit fitter, lose a little bit of weight, maybe you're concerned about your skin. I know these are pure vanity things, but let's be real about this, ladies. Sometimes that's very motivating for us, isn't it? Okay, so the thing with there is about the short-term fix and not thinking about the long-term. And that's why I talk about, you know, that's why I talk about so many different things in my coaching programs. That's why I talk about motivation. It's why I talk about pleasure. It's why I talk about getting you to think about goals, getting you to think about passions. Because if you have something that you're really motivated, that's really powerful for you, that you're really into, then the chances are the short-term fix isn't going to be as attractive. Because if you have that long-term goal in your head, and actually that's really quite attractive and it's really motivating, that's why I push you on the motivation a bit, then it's going to be easier. I'm not going to say it's going to work like that, but it's going to be easier because there's so many different things, okay? So remember that it's the quick rewards around the dopamine hit, which can be a habit as much as anything, and there are lots and lots of other ways that you can get a dopamine hit. So you may not even be aware that you're doing it because of that. And yes, we do have to work a little bit harder at the things that are more beneficial to us, like meditating or hypnotherapy or exercise or dancing or spending time with someone we love and sex, you know. But there are so many things we can do that give us the dopamine hit that fit with our long-term goals and our long-term motivations, okay? So going back to slowing things down, being present, being more aware, being aware that maybe you're going for the short-term hit and actually doesn't fit with your long-term goals, okay? Now, there's also something about coming at it from lots of different ways. Hopefully it's going to help a few of you. There's also something about what we call seemingly irrelevant decisions in the trade. Well, of course, we say they're seemingly irrelevant because they're not really. We think they are. So that's part of what the impulse decisions are. So you come home from work, you open the fridge and there's beer in the fridge and you drink the beer. Before you've even paid attention, you've even realised that, okay? Now, let's break that down. First of all, if you are serious about reducing or taking a break or stopping, why is the beer in your fridge? Okay, let's be honest here, let's be real. Alcohol is everywhere, and if you've been used to drinking and you like drinking, you have a taste for drinking, or you've got into a habit with drinking, or it's a quick fix, short term, it's giving you that dope, you like it, let's be honest, but actually you don't want to do it, then why is it even in your house? You know, why is it in your fridge? Now, I know some of us will have partners or be sharing with friends, and that makes things difficult, but it can be out of the way. It doesn't have to be in the fridge. You know, when you come home from work and open the fridge, it doesn't have to be there. It could be somewhere else, so it's not actually within your sight, okay? So there's something about preparation and planning and being honest. So, you know, I'm not saying by not having alcohol in the house, that's going to be your cure-all. It's not, but it's really, really going to help, particularly with these seemingly irrelevant decisions, okay? So we have, well, I don't anymore. I'm showing off now. Some of us will have, so there's a lot of habit involved in this, a lot of ritual, a lot of routine, a lot of what we call programs. You know, there's a lot of social construct around alcohol anyway, a huge amount. Adverts, social conditioning, your friendship groups, your peer groups, your family, your partner. It's a huge amount of that before you even go into your own habits around alcohol. You know, all the sayings that we have, all our own rituals, our own unconscious patterns, okay? So that's what I mean, is you have these things that you do that you're probably not even aware of, and that's part of this journey, is we're learning how to unpick this and break it down. And that's why I say, don't give yourself a hard time, because it's a learning. You're learning this stuff and it's progress, not perfection. You can't learn all of this stuff at once. You just can't. I mean, I'm 12 years in, I'm still learning. In fact, I relearn a lot of this stuff because there's so much, you can't hold it all in, okay? So you can help yourself by not being around alcohol at all. But obviously I don't want you to isolate yourself. But in terms of sort of those, you know, like coming home from work, opening the fridge and the beer's there, for starters, if the beer wasn't there, then you probably wouldn't drink. But also what that does is that interrupts your habit, it interrupts your pattern. So if your pattern is to do that and the alcohol isn't there, that's what we call a pattern interrupt, because it's like, well, the alcohol isn't there. So then you have to stop and think, and you have to think, well, I need to go and buy some. Okay, and then we're getting into slow things down, be present, press pause, think about it. Do you really want to buy some? You know, actually take your time to make a decision about that, okay? So a lot of this is about preparation and planning, and that's also why I talk about, particularly early days, if you're not sure what you're doing, or you feel pressured, or you feel scared, to learn, you know, do all the learning, read the books, watch the videos, come and do the online program, you know, do all that learning, because then you'll be prepared and you'll be able to plan for things, okay? So stuff like alcohol, is it available to you? You know, so where are you? Who are you with? You know, are they people that you would normally drink with? So these are these sort of unconscious habits, our routines, our rituals, okay, that we want to unpick. Do you drink home alone? You know, if you drink home alone, then what can you do differently? So it's trigger points. So it's about the drug. So the drug is alcohol. So what can you do to make that easier, just in terms of the drug? And then it's about where you are, you know, where do you normally drink, where are your habits? And then it's also about your emotions. So in terms of impulse decisions, it's what we would call an unconscious perfect storm, really, I suppose, in a way. Those impulse decisions, people think they're impulse decisions, but they're not. It's based on ritual and habit and unconscious patterns and wrong place, wrong time, you know, all those types of things. But there are things you can do to help yourself. So part of learning about this is, you know, being able to stop. So say, for instance, coming home from work, your unconscious habit is to open the fridge, but there's no beer in there because you've done your preparation and planning. And then you're thinking, well, do I need a drink? And then you're like, well, what do I need? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I stressed? Am I happy? Am I celebrating? Do I feel like a reward? And that's the pressing pause and actually being able to figure out, well, what do I need? Because you damn well do not need alcohol. Not ever, in any situation, do you ever need alcohol, okay? So that's what we mean about seemingly irrelevant decisions. But as I've said, you can help yourself. So you can help yourself with learning, practice, planning, putting new good habits in, learning how to feel good, you know, doing things. So that's that dopamine stuff, new good habits that help you to feel good, you know, having your box of tricks there, understanding your triggers. Now this takes time, you're not going to be aware of all of them, and learning how to deal with your emotions and also cravings. Now in that minute I've said probably about a year's work, all right? So that's why I'm so you know, that's why a lot of my ethos is about compassion, about it's a journey, about it takes time, about patience, about persistence, about learning. And that's why I do the online coaching program, because I want you to learn, and I want you to be prepared, and I want you to be aware, and I want you to feel good about what you're doing. And sometimes that's more important that you do that before you actually start doing something, and actually that can really help you on your journey. Now, I hope that's helped you a bit. There was a lot of information crammed into sort of 20 minutes, so I hope it makes sense. We are in the middle of a 7-day alcohol-free challenge, which is brilliant. It is day 4. I hope you're enjoying it. We are also taking sign-ups for the online coaching program. We've got a nice little special offer on it. Healthy Summer, I think, is the coupon. I will post the link with the video, which makes it £35, which is a bargain. It's an affordable life coaching program. You get lifetime access, and also if you do it and you don't learn anything, I'm more than happy to give your money back, okay? And you also get access to a secret Facebook group, so if you need a bit of extra support, then I can give you a bit of extra support in there as well. And I have nearly got the angel wings up and ready, the link as well. However, I mean, I've got them ready, it's just doing the links and it's doing the tech, which I'm sure you can imagine, ladies, is causing me no end of a headache. It's a good job I've got a sense of humour. Tech is not my strong point. But you don't need me to be good at tech, really, do you? So I hope that was useful. I would love to know if you know, impulse decisions is an issue for you. Let's have a look, see if we can't break that down a little bit, give you a little bit of help. In fact, just to give you an example, this is a really good example because this happened to me a few years ago. So as you know, really far into my journey, actually there's a couple I can give you. So really quite a long way into my journey. This was about 4 years ago this happened. So 4 years ago, I noticed that I was having quite a lot of cravings, which was really unusual. I mean, literally every day and different points during the day. So that was the first thing I noticed, really. I was like, I'm having a lot of cravings. What's going on? That's really unusual. I don't usually have this many cravings. And obviously I didn't act on those cravings at all. But I just went with it. I was patient, you know, I pressed pause. So I didn't make any rash decisions. I didn't do anything about it. I was a little bit more careful. I stayed away from the action. So I didn't put myself in a situation where that might be an issue. I was aware that I was having these cravings. I hadn't quite figured it out. It took me a couple of months to figure it out. It sounds ridiculous, but sometimes it's like that. But actually, I was doing a really difficult job. I was working really hard. I was really tired. There was a lot going on. It wasn't as simple as the job was difficult. I haven't got enough time to tell you all about it here, but it was really tough. So it was like a little message. It was like, something's not working out for you and you're looking for a way out, you're looking for an escape, you're looking for a dopamine release. And also, I'm sure there was some self-sabotage stuff in there as well. And then what happened was I was waiting for a bus one day and I was thinking about alcohol, and I'd been thinking about alcohol a bit, and I was starting to process this stuff. And somebody drove past who is somebody that I know that I can purchase certain things from. And I was like, okay, right, you need to stop and you need to think and you need to pay attention. So I could easily have gone into an impulse decision, but I didn't. I just pressed pause. I was patient. I knew there was something going on. I was just processing stuff. I was talking to people. And then I sort of noticed that and I was like, oh, okay. And then that's when I figured it out. I just figured out, actually, you're not having a very good time. You really need to do something about this. This isn't okay. And that's when I really started to pay attention to my situation and actually start making decisions that were going to help me. So I hope that's useful, ladies. Let me know if impulse decisions is an issue for you, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.